How could an ordinary man become a power-hungry dictator who silenced the world with a single greeting and a single symbol? This is the transformation of Adolf Hitler, a controversial figure who emerged from the womb of crisis and disappointment as the darkest shadow of the 20th century. From commoner to tyrant, Hitler rewrote history not with ink, but with blood. Adolf Hitler was not born a dictator. He was born on April 20th, 1889, in Braunau am Inn, a small town on the border between Austria and Germany. The son of Alois Hitler, a tough and authoritarian customs official, and Clara, a gentle and loving mother, Hitler grew up in a household full of emotional contradictions. Since childhood, he had harbored ambitions to become an artist. He admired architecture and painting, and dreamed of studying at the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. However, reality was not on his side. Twice rejected from art school, Hitler began to fall into the abyss of frustration and alienation. Life in Vienna shaped his worldview, a cosmopolitan city that exposed him to the extreme nationalist and anti-Semitic trends that were taking root in Central European society at the time. He lived as a vagrant, selling postcards to survive and viewing the world through a lens of rage and revenge. But his transformation culminated when he moved to Munich and volunteered to serve in World War I. On the battlefield, Hitler found a sense of purpose, structure, and, for a time, identity. But when the war ended in 1918 with Germany's defeat, Hitler felt betrayed. The defeat had not only shattered his self-esteem, but also served as a collective trauma for the German nation. The Treaty of Versailles, which imposed severe penalties on Germany, including massive war reparations, territorial cuts, and national humiliation, became a beacon of public anger. Germany plunged into recession, rampant inflation, and horrific unemployment. A sense of despair enveloped the country. It was in these conditions that the seeds of extremism began to grow. In 1919, Hitler joined the German Workers' Party, a small group of hardline nationalists and critics of capitalism and communism. But Hitler saw more than a political platform. He saw a stage. With his gripping oratory skills and keen understanding of mass psychology, he quickly captured the attention of the party and transformed it into a vehicle for his personal ambitions. In short order, he renamed the party the National Sozialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei, NSDAP, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or the Nazi Party. Hitler did more than just build a party. He built a symbol, a mythology, and a movement. The swastika was chosen as a striking and meaningful visual identity. The brown uniforms and paramilitary ranks of the Sturmabteilung, SA, created an image of discipline and strength. The Heil Hitler salute became a mantra of power. The Nazis were not just a political party, they were a mass movement that offered simple answers to complex problems. Germany was defeated because it was betrayed, and the betrayers were the Jews, the communists, and the liberals. In 1923, Hitler attempted to seize power in a coup in Munich, a daring attempt that failed miserably. He was imprisoned, but it was there that he found the opportunity to formulate his vision in the book, Mein Kampf. This book was Hitler's ideological roadmap, a blend of radical nationalism, Aryan supremacy, hatred of Jews, and plans for Eastern expansion, Lebensraum. Mein Kampf was not just a text, but a declaration of war on the world. After his release from prison, Hitler rebuilt the Nazi Party with a more systematic approach. He learned from his failures. The Nazis began to shift from street violence to electoral strategy. Propaganda became the main weapon. Joseph Goebbels, the expert in manipulating information, was appointed as the party's propaganda chief and succeeded in spreading the image of Hitler as the nation's savior. The Nazis worked with industry, the military, and the media to build the image of the Führer as a messianic figure who would restore Germany to glory. When the Great Depression hit the world in 1929, Germany was one of the countries worst affected. Millions of people lost their jobs and homes. In the chaos, Hitler offered promises: jobs, national honor, and a common enemy to blame. By 1932, the Nazi Party was the largest party in the Reichstag. A year later, Hitler was named Chancellor of Germany. It didn't take long for democracy to turn into a dictatorship. Through the Reichstag fire and the Enabling Act, Hitler abolished civil rights and silenced parliament. All parties were disbanded, and only the Nazi Party was allowed to stand. The law was subject to the will of the Führer. Opposition was hunted down, the press was silenced, and the people were surveilled. The Nazis created a modern totalitarian state, in which education, the arts, the sciences, and even children were programmed to worship a single leader. The Nazi Party became more than a political tool. It became a brainwashing machine, a cult culture, and an instrument of repression. From the Hitlerjugend, Hitler Youth, to the Gestapo, secret police, the Nazis built a network of power that infiltrated every aspect of life. They drafted lists of who could live and who should be exterminated. And out of that darkness emerged the Holocaust, the systematic murder of 6 million Jews and millions more. Hitler was not just a tyrant, he was the architect of genocide. Under the banner of the swastika, the world was engulfed in World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history. Adolf Hitler transformed personal and national trauma into a tool of power, from failed painter to world burner. His transformation is not only a historical tragedy, but an eternal warning that in the midst of crisis, the void of hope can be filled by a figure who promises glory at the cost of humanity.